With springtime upon us, we have our first air conditioner system failure of the year, and it is a good one for video. It's a bad one for the customer. Regardless, I did not have my camera rolling whenever I pulled the orifice tube out of the front, which I'm pretty regretful about that, but I did get some video after I got it out. It has an absolute boatload of contamination in it. The compressor was actually still running on this. The customer stated that it was cooling some, but not very well. It was way overcharged on refrigerant, and I was watching the pressures before I evac'd the refrigerant out of it. And my low side was low and my high side was low. We had a pressure differential with the compressor clutch kicking in. The low pressure switch was shutting it down due to pulling the low pressure below its threshold, but it was not cooling like it should. And I feel like that's why the guy before me put too much refrigerant in it. He was trying to watch the pressures and wasn't weighing it as he was installing it. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Once I figured out my pressures, I knew that I had a restriction in the system. I went to the orifice tube, found that it was absolutely loaded with metal. I will drop a short video of that here. So you can see what I'm talking about. From here, we also have to clean out the bunk on these 379 Peterbilts. There is an expansion valve in the bunk that we took out, and it was loaded with debris as well. I actually gut those and I reinstall them back into the system to complete the circuit without a restriction. And then I use a flushing machine like this one, this Master Cool, that we actually just got serviced up. We got brand new flushing agent in this, so we'll be able to see the debris that comes out of this system. I've got it hooked to the bunk right now. I flush these systems in reverse. So I have my outlet of the machine to the suction line that goes back to the bunk. We're gonna flip this on here in a little bit, and we are going to watch all the debris get flushed out of the bunk system into the machine. And then from that, we will purge it. It purges all the flush out of that bunk, and then we will convert it over to flush out the cab unit. We got to do them individually because if you leave them all hooked up, you're not truly flushing one or the other. You can still leave debris and contamination in there, and you cannot flush through accumulators, receiver dryers, orifice tubes, expansion valves, or compressors. Some condensers you can flush through, like a tube type, but if it is a plate type, they are in parallel, and it's another situation where you can never flush them properly. So in those instances, you've got to replace those components. So enough of me rambling. I'm going to flip the switch onto the pump. You will watch the clean fluid come out of this line and all the debris come back in through this line, so it's captured back in the filter and in the reservoir. Yikes. Let this machine run and flush that back bunk system for a few minutes before we convert it and do the front. So I have the machine currently set up where we are purging all of the flush agent out of the lines in the truck and returning them back into our reservoir via compressed shop air. And I know a lot of you guys say you can't use shop air, but here's the situation. Our receiver dryer, or in this case our accumulator that we are installing on this when we're done, is not currently in the system because, like I previously stated, you cannot flush through them. That is what takes care of the moisture in the system. Plus, I have a refrigerated air dryer on my air system, and I simply do not have the moisture issues that I used to before that unit. So I do not use compressed nitrogen for doing this type of work because, in my opinion, it is simply not necessary. So I have my bunk lines clean and all my flushing agent removed from them. I am ready to install a new expansion valve on the bunk side that's actually located in the bunk, in the HVAC box in the bunk. I will install this and our bunk system will be done. I will actually do this while I am flushing the cab setup. So on the cab, I've got my accumulator out, I've got my compressor replaced, but it is not hooked up, and TJ is installing a new condenser right now. So in light of flushing it backwards with what I've got currently unhooked, I'm going to get a hold of the suction line that goes into the accumulator, and I will flush it back through the evap in the cab, and that will come out at the line that is off of the condenser in the front, and that will be one part of that circuit, and then I'll just have two lines to flush by themselves after I get that part completed. That is one suction line from the accumulator to the compressor and one high pressure line from the compressor to the condenser. So I'm going to move this setup to the other side of the truck and we will get it hooked back up. Okay, we are to the driver's side of the truck, so we're going to flush out the front AC components at this time. I have my outlet of the machine to the suction line where the accumulator mounts. It is going to flush out the cab, the front cab evaporator core, and it will come back out through the line that goes into the bottom of the condenser. So like I said, we're replacing the condenser, the compressor, the orifice tube, expansion valve, and accumulator on this truck. And this is my favorite part. We're going to flush all the crap out of the front. Brrr, gotta plug it in first, dork. Take two. Back it up. Back up, Terry. So here all I'm doing is flushing out those other two lines that I was talking about, and since there's not components in them and they're just simply lines, it really doesn't matter which direction you flush them in. So we are going to go ahead and get them cleaned out. This suction line that I'm on right now, I find actually is where the majority of the oil that is in the system pools, and in this case it was housing the little bit of oil that was left in the system, along with a whole bunch of contamination. So you could see in the oil all the little grit, and that is why it's so important to flush these components out. I see a lot of guys, and I'll be honest with you, I was been guilty of it too back when I was getting started. You would just back up and slick a new compressor on it, new receiver dryer or an accumulator or an orifice tube and or an expansion valve, and just send it, because if you were getting paid warranty for warranty work, flag rate, flat time, gosh, it was terrible. Anyways, if you take the time to make sure all the contamination is out of the system whenever you put your brand new compressor on, which most compressor manufacturers or any compressor manufacturers that I've seen will only honor their warranty if all of these steps have been completed, and sometimes even then it's questionable. Anyways, you absolutely must make sure that the entire system is clean, because you don't want to go washing all that debris back through all your new components. And with that, all of our lines are clean. We are ready to finish reassembly on the rest of our components. We'll need to go ahead and hang our new accumulator. I need to hook the lines back up from the bunk to the front cab AC lines, and then hook our new condenser up to the lines in the front, and then our lines up to our new compressor as well. Another nice thing about going ahead and flushing the entire system out like this, we get rid of all of the old oil, so we don't have to guess how much oil is left in the system, or we don't have to hope that the last guy or the last 5 or 6 guys put in however much they removed, or the first guy put in the right amount to start with. So whenever we install our new compressor, most compressors come charged with 300 cc's of oil. If you verified that like you should, then we know that our oil charge on this system is proper, because that is exactly what these trucks take as well. And that way, whenever we put it all back up, our oil charge is already in our compressor. We charge it to 5.5 pounds for this application, and this job will be done. Okay, right now, anytime the fan should be kicking on. Our high side pressure, yep, there the fan just came on. High side pressure tanks. Low side pressure is holding steady. A little over 40, 45 pounds. Fan kicks off, high side pressure builds back up. Before this was pulling the low side down to 15 to 20 pounds. And the high side would never get over about 100, 150. So this right here should be cooling awesome, judging by the pressures on the gauges. So that worked out really well. I'm very satisfied with where our pressures and our vent temps are. They're right where I expected them to be. Please note that ambient temperatures affect pressure readings and vent temp. So your mileage may vary depending on ambient temperature and humidity. So please note that. But regardless, this job is done. We're ready to give it back to the customer, and he will be trucking hopefully for a long time with cold air conditioning.